and welcome. It's Alberta to Arizona, the real estate show. I'm Tracie Gray, your host today, and from one side of the border, we've got Devin Gray in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, and he's with Mogul Realty Group as well as EXP. And then down on the other side of the border, we've got Diane Brennan, and she's down in the Phoenix area and Scottsdale down in Arizona. She's with Coldwell Banker, and they're both professional real estate agents ready to talk about the difference between buying and selling in Canada and the United States. I'm a real estate investor, so that's how I get to tag along with these guys. And then we appreciate you watching. We've got a great topic for you today. But first, Diane, you had a big win in Las Vegas.
I did. It was big to me. It's a little jackpot. 4,700 bucks.
Woo, woo.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That's pretty good. Good for you. And
Yeah.
that was a nice birthday present.
Yeah, it was really good. So, yeah. And then I think I won 300 more the next day. So it was a total of
Wow.
$5,000. So it's crazy because you really feel the pull to go back and play. So I was like, wow, this must
That
be
was on
what-
slots?
Yeah, it was on a slot. Yeah. It's kind of a crazy story because I won $1,500 and I was on my way to my room. I said, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Go to your room. Don't spend any more. And then, yeah, I ended up winning that jackpot. So
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
I've heard that about the poll though, because you think,
Oh.
well, I'm on a win streak, so let's just keep
Right?
going. Let's
and it's
maybe I can turn this into $100,000.
right. And you have that, you want to play, right? And oh
Yeah.
God, yeah, it's tough. So I went to I had a spa day planned anyways the next day, but I was like, thank goodness, because I was doing everything I could to stay at a casino, so.
Here's the part people never tell you about is how much actually made it home.
Yeah, well, I think, I cleared $3,800. That's how much I brought
Wow.
home. Because there's kind of and I'm not going to tell you guys the crazy story before because I won the 1,500 and ended up putting that back into a machine. So I was like, oh my goodness, what a loser, degenerate. This is what
You won it and it's gone again already.
it's caught. I'm like, oh my goodness. I told everybody I won $1,500 and I put it back in a machine. And I'm like, I did the worst thing you could possibly do. I went out to get out more money to try and win my money back. So this isn't the story I was going to tell. So I'm like, I'm a full-blown degenerate at this point. Like, it was crazy. So the machine wouldn't give me the money. And I was like, what the heck? And all it would do is give me a cash advance. I shouldn't even tell the story. We could lose all my credibility. But yeah, the ATM wouldn't. I'm like, I'm not over my limit. Like I hadn't even taken out money that day. So I'm like, what the heck? My only choice was this cash advance. So I hit that and it's like a $45 fee. You have to go up to the cage. You have to give your fingerprint. This is how much of a degenerate. You have to give your fingerprint on this paper, sign your life away. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I am a gambling degenerate. Like you never, first of all, take out good money to chase after bad. So anyways, I did that. I put it in and my last spin, I won the $4,700 jackpot. I was like, that is so lucky anyways. So it's crazy.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah,
So
well,
this
we
is
knew
now
you
turned
loved
into a Gamblers Anonymous.
it. We didn't realize that was the direction that the show was.
Yeah, it always takes the turn, doesn't it? Yeah. So anyways, it was a lucky weekend in Vegas in more ways than one. Like, my goodness.
Yeah, like Devin said, what a fun way to celebrate your birthday. So happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm glad that Vegas came through for you.
Yeah, it did. And I'm not going back there.
So she says.
So I say, yeah, that's done. I was like, woo, you can, got out of that mess. That's for sure. So,
And that
yeah.
was all playing at the Cosmopolitan. That's where you were
Yeah. Yeah. That's where I was playing.
That's
I
who
was
we
playing
can
the
blame for
slot machine. That was
sucking you
interesting.
back in.
Yeah. Right. And then they give you these points. And then all of a sudden I got this email saying you have $300 to play bonus play to play with. And I'm like, I'm not falling for it. I know what you guys are trying to do, but I'm keeping my money.
We want our money back.
Oh, for
So
sure.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. I think they've already sent me a free room and everything. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They really want that.
After she
For
said
sure.
she's not going back.
yeah, I remember. Yeah. I think I was at the Hooters Hotel. I don't even know why. Cause I was actually on a camping trip. I was doing a whitewater rafting trip to the
Yeah.
Grand Canyon. And we stayed in a hotel. The only place we were so exhausted, the only place close, like we were literally across the parking lot from Hooters. So we went to go eat at Hooters and I ended up hitting like a $1,200 jackpot. And then I never did use that. They sent me a free room at Hooters. I thought, yeah, I'm probably never going to use that one. And I did. So that one ran out, but it's amazing how you get those free rooms when you win some money off them. They definitely want to try and get it back from you for sure.
Especially at Hooters Hotel.
Yeah.
Is
I
there
remember
still a
my,
Hooters? Is there still a Hooters hotel there?
no, I don't think so. And I think my friend complained about the steak going into the Grand Canyon. Like we had to stay in Vegas. We drove to Vegas and it's my friend Megan from Edmonton. She came with me and we went to Bobby Flay's and his steak is just phenomenal, right? And then we're so tired we couldn't even like literally walk to a restaurant like by the time we did the 3-day camping trip, and you get no sleep because you're sleeping at the bottom of the Grand Canyon in tents or like ovens. It's so hot. We got no sleep, and then we got back to Vegas and we had to spend the night there before driving back to Phoenix. And we went to go eat at Hooters because we couldn't walk. We were so exhausted. So she ordered steak at Hooters and she's like, this is disgusting. I'm like, well, we're at Hooters. This is not the place you order steak. Like, we're not at Rocky
No, you
Flake.
get the wings at Hooters. That's
Right.
yeah.
Exactly. Crazy
Not that I would
Vegas
know.
for
That's what I've heard. I've been told.
Devin told you, right?
Wings and beer.
Too funny. So I don't know if I've lost all my credibility as a realtor, but let's how's
But
business
maybe
in
going
Edmonton?
to Vegas.
Yeah, right.
You're in.
Are you guys busy in Edmonton? How's real estate going? And as of what, we're at the end of July here.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely changed. In other parts of the country that were really on fire, BC and Ontario, things have really cooled off. And of course, that's great for buyers, but there's a lot of sellers that are obviously really concerned and disappointed and pretty anxious because they're seeing their houses drop by hundreds of thousands of dollars. We're not there, but we never really got going in Alberta. And actually, there's quietly, we're just seeing if this is still happening. But at the beginning of the year, it certainly was. And that was a lot of people from Ontario and BC moving to Alberta because they had said, look, we just simply can't get into the market. It's just way too high. Well, now that things have settled in Ontario and BC, some of those people might still decide to stay. So we'll see. Big news yesterday came out, Statistics Canada released June numbers when it comes to inflation, and there was a lot of talk about us crossing over to 8%, and we did. We're at 8.1%. Gas prices are up 54% from last year. Food is up 9% from last year. So there's a lot of people. Obviously, real estate being such a high ticket item is on everyone's mind, but it's even just how do I pay rent and put food on my table and pay for gas and all that stuff. So there's definitely a lot of concerns that are going on. We had that interest rate hike a week ago, and there's probably two more coming because that's one of the only tools that the Bank of Canada has to try to keep inflation in check. So there's a lot of uncertainty in what's going on, and obviously a lot of people getting caught up in the hype. And so we've collectively in both of our offices, the one in Vancouver and Edmonton, several buyers are saying, I just don't know what's going on. I'm just going to park things for a little bit. And then some hard conversations with sellers because they, very quickly are finding that they're overpriced. And so we're encouraging them to do a price improvement. So that's what's happening here. How about down there?
Pretty much the same thing. We are seeing about 1,000 new homes a week come on the market, 1,000 new listings. So there's a lot more competition for buyers. Our interest rates are higher. We're around 6.5% for a 30-year fixed mortgage. So people are kind of waiting. They're not sure if, prices are going to improve a little bit or, the buyers that have to buy are definitely buying. They're, going from, some people are getting from the high twos here, all of a sudden to that 6%. They're kind of kicking themselves for not making a move, but they're not to blame because there just wasn't the inventory. So now there's the inventory. We have a lot of sellers that are helping out with interest rates by providing a seller credit. To get those people back to an interest rate we've kind of been spoiled with the last 2 years. So still real estate's moving, but there is sellers are finding that their properties are staying on the market a bit, and some buyers are hesitant, but there are people that definitely have to buy and are buying. So we're taking this time to just tell people to, if you're, on the fence, that now's a good time to talk with the lender anyways, because our first course of action down here is getting pre-qualified. So it's to talk to a lender and have them look at your credit scores and probably position you for when you are ready to buy and when you feel comfortable making a move, and just kind of getting their credit kind of repaired and fixed, which a lot of lenders will do here for free. So a lot of people make the mistake of, well, first of all, they're hesitant because they think, I've had a late payment, my credit must be terrible, without actually knowing. And, just to express, there's a lot of people that have had little bumps in the road here. So just because you're late on a payment doesn't necessarily mean your credit score is tanked. So just get an accurate picture and work with the lender and get on a game plan of making that better. So what's neat here when you get your credit report checked is it goes by an algorithm. So a lender will actually tell you, pay off this much on your card. It's going to help with the algorithm and help with your credit score and help you get your best interest rate. So a lot of us think, well, I just got to pay off all my debt. And that's not necessarily the best thing to do. So credit companies want to see that you're actively using your credit and your lines of credit. So paying one off can actually hurt you. So the lender will actually tell you, like, let's say your bills, you have $357 on a credit card. You think, let's pay that off. That's going to be better. It's actually going to hurt you. Do not pay it off. The lender will tell you, pay off, $113.24, like that specific, to help the algorithm to help you get the best interest rate. So now's a good time to clean up, you know what I mean? Clean up your credit, get prepared to buy. And, everybody's in different situations. So we're allowed to refinance here. So if you are to finance down here, and your interest rates is something that you don't want, you can ask a seller to pay down points to get a better interest rates. And you also can refinance. We don't have any prepayment penalties. So you can actually refinance, roll the cost of the refinance into the loan. And, if rates go down, then you can refinance. So, it's kind of a really good situation. So a lot of investors here, so that are interested in purchasing in the US, plus to use the property for themselves. You can rent that out. We have short-term vacation rentals are really popular. So you can do that and then enjoy the property yourself when you want to come down and visit as well. So it's always a good thing.
How often is someone able to refinance? Is it, obviously you've got is it based on how much equity is left in the property, or is there a certain time period that they have to wait?
No.
We talked about how we've got terms, like 3-year, 4-year, 5-year terms before someone's allowed to refinance. Can someone refinance, say, twice in a year?
Oh, as many times as you want. We're not as regulated as Canada. Yeah, you can.
Which can be good and can be bad.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. So if you wanted to do a cash out refi, then that depends how much equity you've got in your house. The ratio has to be a certain amount. You have to have enough equity in the property to do that. But just to do a lower rate, you can do it as many times as you want. So there is a cost to doing that. So that's just what you want to keep in mind. You want to definitely keep that property. And our lenders here, the ones I work with, will tell you, is it worth it for you to refinance, or is it worth it for you to refinance or just wait? Like, if you're not going to keep the property for a long time, then there's no use spending that money to refinance when you're not going to be into it for long term.
Yeah.
So they take a look at all those different scenarios and give you advice on that. So lenders here are, when we had the crash and we had predatory lending, that whole landscape has changed incredibly. And the people who I work with are incredibly reputable and will just give you your best options. There's no pressure, and they want to give you great information to help you make the best decisions for you and your family. So they're a great resource.
Well, it's definitely great advice, and we certainly are echoing the same thing. I think some people just get caught up in the media and then just say, I'm just going to wait, but they don't do anything to find out if this situation now is actually still the best time for them to purchase. So it's some great suggestions there about going and talking to a lender. We recommend the same thing. Go and talk to your local bank contact, or talk to a mortgage broker here, and get a sense of what's happening, because it is, it's always pros and cons in real estate. And yes, prices are falling, but you're buying a lower priced house with potentially a higher interest rate. And so that might balance off. You talk about them being credits. We call them cash back to close. And certainly that's something that I think sellers would be open to looking at. We're not necessarily, I'm blown away by the amount of new listings that continue to come on. It's always interesting when you would think that more people would be coming on the market when things were really, really good, because they could sell their price for top dollar, although then they're without a house and they've got to go buy one and probably pay top dollar. So,
well, and I think school kind of, you've got kids.
Oh, you
can't
mentioned
really.
that July is the busiest month of the year. That's
Yeah,
right.
for sure. So it's the busiest month for closing. So, but I would think in Edmonton as well, like people would want to move before the kids go back to school in September.
It's always, go ahead. It's always
you're the
slower.
realtor. It's always slower in July because people are away on holidays. They're out enjoying their backyard. One of the last things they're thinking about is shopping for real estate. We don't get a lot of nice weather here, as you know, and so the 2 months that we do, July and August, real estate sales always drop every year because people are on holidays and actually out enjoying the weather, not inside houses looking around.
Yeah, our busiest time is March, April, May, June, and it's almost like they basically say they want to get that taken care of so that they don't have to be worrying about moving. They can enjoy the summer, and so we definitely have a lull that happens normally every July and August, and then things pick up again, which I find fascinating. That again, when you've got a more consistent weather as you do down in Arizona, it really becomes a lot more specific to just how people live their lives, whereas here it comes into play. The weather certainly comes into play a lot more.
Yeah,
As
definitely.
soon as the snow is gone, then people come out
Yeah,
again.
well, the same thing
Right.
is, I'm sure you have a bit of a drop in December, but things really drop off here in December and January. Just people don't want to be out in minus 30 weather tromping through. And not a lot of realtors do either.
Yeah, through
Those
snow.
those key
Minus
safes to open
30.
up get pretty damn cold at minus.
Cold. Yeah. And ours are burning hot.
Oh, yours would be burning hot.
Oh,
That's
right.
yes.
And that's when you
Ow,
finally
ow, ow,
find
ow.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause sometimes they're stuck in weird areas, so you can be outside for 10 minutes looking for them.
Yeah. So here our Thanksgiving is in November, and then 4 weeks later we have Christmas. So that's what it does slow down for the holiday, because people are like, we don't want people going through our homes and stuff. So, but it's a good time to buy too,
Right.
Great
So-
time to buy.
Great
Yeah.
deals, because
Yeah.
then people have to sell during that time. The ones that are.
Yeah, our office actually always has a very strong December, because we get these investors that come out of the woodwork around late October into November, and they want to buy a property, and then they'll spend January, February, March renovating it, getting it ready to put back on the market for the spring season. So we all have a pretty good December because of the investors coming out.
Yeah.
And
And
motivated
with-
sellers.
And with the new people here that are coming on the market, when you said you were surprised that they're waiting till now, a lot of people prices were going up. So a lot of people didn't want to sell, thinking that they were going to miss out on price increases. So this is just a situation where the news caught up after, and they're like, okay, it took a while to get everybody to the message that sales are going crazy and we need your inventory. And if you're going to sell, it's a good time now. Well, some people were like, well, I don't want to sell now because what if I miss out on 20,000? I mean, people were paying 50, 70, 90 in the $1 million range. They're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars over list price. So I think people kind of, human nature, greed, you didn't want to go on the market and miss out on some money. And now it's really, really kicking them, really hurting them. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sadly, this is the time when we have to start wrapping up the show. Is there anything else that you guys want to throw in on our topic today?
Well, just quickly looking forward to seeing Diane. She's coming to Edmonton next week, so we'll
Yeah.
talk about
Hopefully
this
we
next
get to
week.
see you.
Yeah.
For sure.
Family and that. And maybe we'll join you at a casino somewhere in Edmonton.
No casino. But yeah, I'll definitely see you guys. So for sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Well,
And then,
go ahead.
oh, you wanted my contact information, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, I do.
All right. My email is can't remember her email @gmail.com. I'm with Coldwell Banker Realty. My number is 602-620-2277. Our contact information will be in the show notes as well.
Okay, and you were going to say something there. Did you want to finish that, or you're
I'm
good?
turning into my mother. I forgot already.
I
I think I was just going to say my contact information and you were asking at the same time. Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was coming to Edmonton. Nothing on that? You're good? Okay.
I'm coming, whether you guys are ready or not.
I don't know if we're ever ready for that, but no.
Yeah.
And then Devin, how can they reach you?
Devin, email is Devin, Devin, at mogulrg.com. Cell is 780-951-9279 with Mogul Realty Group and EXP Realty.
Great. Okay. On that note, that wraps up our show for this week. Thank you for joining us. This is the Alberta to Arizona Real Estate Show with Diane Brennan and Devin Gray, and we'll catch you again next week.